Good afternoon, evening, or morning. I've been off for a month, so I'm a little off on the whole deal.
Happy New Year.
I'm Eric Whalen, and welcome to another super secret project sketch. I'm certain I was saying something before in a certain polished sort of a way. I can't remember what it is. So,
This is Eric Whalen from Super Secret Project X doing Super Secret
project sketch. That was it. That sounds right.
There's something in that area.
Oh well, I'll see if I can get it done. Get her done did next time.
3 years.
I know.
And all it took was 1 month.
I know. I know. Serious. This has been 3 years?
It's
3 years and we're up to one or two people showing up. We're doing pretty good.
I think it's actually been more than that, I want to say.
Well, we'll see because the average for a while has been 0. So, not complaining, just saying. Just saying. All right. Though actually, I think a lot of people show up later on Twitch and do actually watch it not live, which is actually kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Anyways, today I'm gonna reapproach a character that I have yet to draw right. So I'm gonna. I know. Well, the thing is there's just some characters like for whatever reason, like the ones I really like, are the ones that I legitimately have a hard time drawing, and I don't understand why that is. But today we are doing Joseph Joestar, which is probably my favorite Joestar. I love Jotaro. I love all of them, but Joseph has at least 3 settings, and the first one he's a really wild, pretty adventurer guy, which is great because he's fighting basically Nazis at times. Oh, hey, how's it going? Kuklai Khan. What a great name. Kuklai Khan. Hey, how's it going? And then he's got the he's got the older guy setting in Stardust Crusaders, and then he's got Diamond is Unbreakable. He's like basically like a year or 2 away from dying, and he's kind of just more or less just a funny old poop in that one. But he's always been one of my favorites because I like the old version of him and I like the young version of him. And for whatever reason, okay, other than I specialize typically in drawing like hot women, a lonely teenager. What you gonna do? That's just the way it is. But I always loved the character and the style, and so the last time I drew him, it was okay. It definitely wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, and so I'm gonna see if I can get him a little closer this time. The kind of the real issue is he's drawn a bunch of different ways, and he looks great in most of them, and sometimes you're taking cues off of one drawing and you get something else in your head and the lines just don't come out right. And so I'm going to try to do the more of the thin-faced version of them, which I think looks really nice because well, it just does. Just does. So I'm going to go in, put the typical marks down, just going to get the volume of his head figured out. Then I'm going to go in and I'm just going to try to get lines down just to roughly go, man, is his brows here? Are his eyes here? Let's bring that up a little bit. Not even going to complete the lines, I'm just going to mark stuff out. Nose. Mouth. And that way I'm not spending too much time and energy on any one thing, and I can see if in general it's looking about right, and that's not bad. Okay, that's not terrible. Okay, I'll keep going. Before, just something about what I put together was just not right. It was like it was okay,
Mhm.
but it just wasn't satisfying, I guess. Just
Gotcha.
didn't really feel Josephy enough. Is that a is that a professional way of talking? I'm not so sure that it is.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. So anyway, for Christmas, my wife picked me up, wonderful Lashida sitting over there, the not only all of Dirty Pair, which is wonderful, but also the newest Blu-ray release of the original Project Echo movie. And they rescanned the whole freaking film from 1989 and they cleaned up. And there was still some damage to it because Project Echo is not one of the biggest titles ever, but those of us who like it, it holds a warm place in our hearts. And it was kind of like watching the movie all over again. It is just this mind-blowing amount of detail. And then it was just so funny. This is so funny. I love this movie. I'm not judging it. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm saying that when it was in low res, it seemed to be higher quality than it was in high res. Because when you're seeing in high res, you're suddenly spotting like, oh wow, they were moving really fast on these backgrounds, and oh wow, blah blah blah. It's a lot looser than I thought it was, and oh wow, that kind of thing. And but the funny thing was, I was going like, wait a minute, how many of these things are actually really important to have detail if it was that great all along? And then now that you're seeing it in 1080p, you're going like, no, it still looks great. I just see where they quickly took the paintbrush and went boop, 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 in the background just to get it done real quick. And you're like, it's the same background. It's just you're seeing it in higher detail, and now for whatever reason it doesn't seem, quite as tight. But I'm like, it doesn't need to be, I guess.
Excuse me. Yeah, and actually the same thing happens in music too.
It does it?
Yeah, there was a song I remember listening to when I was a kid and loved it, and we had the 45 record of it, showing our age here, and then we also we recorded it also from the record onto the cassette plate so we can have it and take it on our various
Okay,
places.
which song again?
It was an old gospel song
Okay.
when I was a kid, and so hearing the song. Heard it when they actually got the now digital version of it. Like I would say, even this was like probably 20 years ago or so, because this is an older song. And so around 15, 20 years ago, they re-released it and all, and you can now have it on digital. Well, at the time it was like CD and digital. And my brother and I were listening to it, and he was just like, "Wow!" He's like, "It's weird. It doesn't sound as dynamic with the cleaned up version as it did from the original,
Yeah.
45 in the cassette that we had." And it was one of those ones I thought about. I was like, yeah, that's actually true. You hear everything, but it didn't sound nearly as dynamic from the original song.
Yeah, it's. I originally saw. I know we should be talking about JoJo's, but we just got done watching this last night. I originally saw was it the Manga Corps? U.S. Manga Corps release of Project Echo? Anyways, when it first came over here on VHS, and I watched it for the first time and it blew my mind. I mean, I was just laughing so hard. I was like, this was anime that was making fun of anime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's actually brilliant. I mean, and it's not like making fun of it in a way like we do like Scary Movie or whatever. It was making fun of it like, no, we're making a legitimate anime, but we're also going to make fun of ourselves at the same time while we're doing it, and it's just so good, so funny. There was not one scene that you could take seriously. I was just laughing my man tits off. But yeah, it was also like, and I still maintain this. I still love the animation and stuff in it because there's a lot of super dynamic, crazy things happening in that movie. But when they brought it to 1080p, which I'm glad they did because I really loved it. You were also getting like really close up on the backgrounds. Like I'm going to pause it later and actually study it. And you're going like, it just didn't occur to me how simple most of these backgrounds were, and which is a good thing because it was like, wow, they achieved that with that line and that and a couple smudges of paint. And when it was in lower res, I always thought it was way more detailed than that. I was going like, good for you guys. You tricked me. You tricked me. That was excellent work because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's still totally fun. And I was hitting shots a handful of times where I was going like, okay, they were seriously rushed there, kind of a thing. Like you could just see it.
Right.
But on the same note, some of the mechanical shots in that movie were so ridiculous. Like hundreds of lines, dots, and strips, and nurnies, greebles and nurnies, and blah, 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 and yada, yada. And you're just going like, oh my God.
I am going to run out and grab us our dinner. So,
I hope I don't get super boring for the audience then. 'Cause
everyone have fun. Yeah, he'll keep you entertained.
yeah, I hope I don't get into
The silent.
the silent thing where I'm just actually, well, according to this, we have one viewer, which
That's me.
is you.
Yeah, that's the.
So I'm like, right now, I don't think I'm too worried about not being entertaining as no one apparently is here. I'm glad we had the Kukulkan came in. That was awfully nice. I don't know what that means, other than it sounds cool.
I was trying to figure out because it's whoever they're speaking Spanish. Says Mouth Junior's daddy. Yeah, I'm a little.
I don't know. I didn't even know that much.
Yeah.
I'm from northern Michigan. You can't expect too much from me. Anywho. Yeah, I always loved Joseph Joestar.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Oh my god, the old version of him and the young version of him are almost two different characters. I mean, I actually wish they would have written him a little bit more similarly. Like, I didn't want him to be exactly the same, but, like, the younger version of him was, like, very dynamic and risk-taking and was funnier. And the older version of him was, like, much wiser, was still a bit of a character. But, like, my favorite trick of Joseph's is when he starts basically mimicking what the other person was doing as they were doing it, which completely screwed with them, which was really fun. And I kind of wish he would have done that once when he was older, because I thought that was like a really fun trick. Like he would just mess with people's heads, and none of the other Joestars did that. And I thought was like one of my favorite bits of his. Let's give him a little bit more cheekbone. Not that much. You have a good run, huh?
Oh, you back for it.
Yep.
I love you.
I love you! It's not bad. Yeah, it's not perfect, but feels a little bit better than the last one I did. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay. See if I can get this freaking hair right. This dude just has hair on him. I mean, obviously. I mean, but I mean, like, crazy out of control. Hanging down. What I like about his hair. And I'm not saying that old school or new school is better, they're all good. But one of the things I liked about old school was the hair was often just out of freaking control. There was so much of it. Well, this isn't perfect, but it is definitely feeling a little bit better than the last one did. Yeah, that ain't looking too bad. It's not looking perfect, but it's better than the last one, so I'll take it. Right now, basically what I'm doing is I've been roughing down a lot of the shapes and stuff to try to get them about right, not worrying if anything is too perfect. And then, once I got the feeling about right, I want to get rid of the stuff that is simply in the way, that I definitely won't use. Mostly because there's so many lines here that it gets confusing as to what it is you're looking at. And as there's so much happening, you just want to be able to look at everything at a glance. Kind of go, yeah, that looks right by comparison to that. That looks right by comparison to that. Yeah. A little bit of DO in there. Oh well. I will get these. I will get the JoJo's characters figured out one of these days. Every time I do one, and I love these characters, but I just never quite get it right. All right. Yeah. I think the Dio vibe I'm getting is in those eyes. Me. De-Dio-fy it. It's because this image he has the slightly more feminine eyes, which Dio often has. Which isn't a bad thing, it just isn't is. Okay. Righty. There we go. All right. Apologize for being quiet today. Lashida had to step out. And after a month off, I am slightly out of practice. Got to admit, I needed that month. Jeez. It's funny. This not that this takes that much every week to do, but in conjunction with everything else, you're like, can I just shave off one or two little things this month? Funny thing is, I actually really do enjoy this. It's just you get tired after a while. You get tired. Eric, stop sounding like an old fart. I can't help it. See how much I'm starting to get silver in my beard, for God's sake. There we go. Yeah, I sure am glad they're animating all the JoJo stuff. It's not that I have a problem with new series. That's just not true. There's actually a lot of new stuff that I like. But when you've got old series that are really good and not being touched, and then they're going after an animating new series, and some of them are like, it's just nice that they're going in and doing some JoJo's. I'm not saying every episode is perfect, and I'm not saying that's everyone's cup of tea. But dang it, I enjoy me some JoJo's. All right, let's get this hair figured out. Back to these lines real quick. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that's feeling better. That one spot where his forehead was not feeling right to me. They should swoop up a little bit. Swoop out. Swoop down. Okay, there we go. That's better. It feels good to get back to pencil again. During my time off, I'm trying to get the last of the writing on my books done so we can hopefully start publishing at some point in time soon, which would be nice. I've been working on them for so freaking long. So I've been doing a lot of screen time lately, which is both good and bad. It's nice to get there and do the thing and blah blah blah, but you also miss stuff. Like, for example, just hitting a Sunday or a Saturday where you've got nothing but your workstation in front of you with Rebel, and you're throwing in whatever, it doesn't matter. I think I want to throw in some of the, and I've already watched most of the Dirty Pair my wife got me for Christmas, but I think I might want to stick some more in. A couple of those titles I've only seen a handful of times. It'd be nice to go through them again. The thing is some of the old shows had some really good shticks, and I'm not trying to fly that flag of the old stuff is better. It's just, no, there were some good shticks. Man, there was some good stuff on those. It's like JoJo's. A lot of people are like, yeah, woo, JoJo's. I'm like, yeah, stuff is old. I've been waiting since I was like 17 when I saw the OVA for Stardust Crusaders, the 90s one. And the thing is, the manga's great, but I love them both, to be honest. But what's nice about anime is it's just easier to just turn your mind off and throw popcorn in and sit on the old lazy boy and just be like, just having fun. I know it's kind of stupid, but it's also kind of true. Like, I've got JoJo's manga, and I love going through it, but there's something about it where you need patience, and it's nice too because you're really going like, wow, check out the little blah blah blah. But with anime, you can just, I don't want to say shut your brain off because I do watch the subtitled versions, but still, like, let her fly. Yeah, it's not terrible. It is closer than the last version I did, that's for sure. It's still not quite right. used to be a curve there. I guess I should be talking. Sorry, I got into the shirt there. So one of my favorite bits, and battle tendency, which is where this Joestar comes from, was the last of the JoJo stuff before they switched over to the stands. And I love the stands, but the original stuff didn't use stands. It basically used anti-vampire and anti-undead martial arts called Harmon, and it is just as goofy and wonderful as it sounds. And actually, to be honest, it's one of the reasons why Battle Tendency is one of my favorites, is because the rules in it were so simple, and the heroes weren't really all that powerful, and the villains were just freakishly dangerous. And they also had, Nazis. One of the heroes is basically a Nazi, and it is such a crazy, like, World War II era adventure story with bad guys that are just wearing way too little clothing, but they're awesome. Like my favorite one was AC/DC, and I swear to God, there's this amazing fight where he's blown to pieces, and he's not done fighting yet. And the next episode is where his brain and spinal cord crawl into a lady. And it is just so crazy. It is so whacked. I love it so much. And the first time I saw it, I was like, what? Just a brain crawling on somebody. It's just wonderfully crazy. So crazy. I don't know how much I actually want to clean this up. I kind of feel like keeping this one rough for some reason. But I definitely am not done detailing it. There's something about the roughness that I like. It's not because I'm being lazy. It's only partially because I'm being lazy. It's also the only Battle Tendency is also the only thing where I've ever seen somebody making soap bubbles dangerous. Like in serious fights, like Caesar Zeppeli, which is his battle partner, through part of it, uses soap bubbles in combat, and you're just like, wow, I didn't think of doing that. That is so goofy and so wonderful. Yeah, Battle Tendency is definitely one of my favorites, and it didn't last very long either. It was a fairly short one. Then they brought him in for Stardust Crusaders, being much older, and that was the version I first met the character in. And I tell you what, I love me some anime, but there's a lot of series where, in many ways, it's always about, like, not always, but too much about, like, little kids or, like, teenagers, which is fine. I love those series. But there's also something kind of awesome when you get really good old characters, and there's not a ton of series that do that. There's some, clearly, there's some. And the old version of him is like one of the best because he's such a rascal and he's such a trickster, and yet he's also kind of like an Indiana Jones old adventure dude, and just fun. And then you see him in Diamond is Unbreakable, and I'm not saying that what the creator did was wrong, but it was hard seeing this character that old and kind of enfeebled. And the thing was, is I still liked the character, but you're also like, oh, this is kind of hard to watch. Because, like, in Battle Tendency, he was young and virile and dashing and clever and, heroic and blah, blah, blah. And then Stardust Crusaders, he was, I mean, not even going for, like, a senior citizen. No, he was still kind of heroic and dashing and awesome. And he was the older dude in the show. And then you hit Diamond is Unbreakable, and you're like, oh, don't have a scene where they change his diaper. Oh, this is hard to watch. Oh, this poor guy. Like, it's actually, I thought it was a brilliant idea what they did in Diamond is Unbreakable, because they're actually showing a character getting very old and being really too old to be in most of the adventures and stuff, and it's kind of amazing seeing that. It was also kind of hard. I was like, oh, we're just getting old. He was still like 7 foot something as an old guy, but it's pretty good. I might turn this one into a time lapse. It turned out pretty good. Still not quite right, but I can't complain. It still looks pretty good. Yes. While keeping it rough, I'm also cleaning it out. Quiet you. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm kind of wanting to keep big sections kind of rough, because especially the hair, but then I can kind of try to get some eye focus in by cleaning bits and pieces up. I forgot to fill some of that hair in. Not bad. Actually turned out a little better than the last one. I'm still not 100% happy, but I am happier, which is saying something because I so rarely am happy with some of these characters. They turned out pretty good. Could be cleaned up and blah 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 yada yada, but it's a sketchbook. What are you gonna do? All right, I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna do the thing. Mostly because eventually I would like to have some kind of a business starting. So you're gonna have to sit through this. Boom. Do you want a schedule of upcoming episodes and links to missed episodes sent to your email? Then go to supersecretprojectx.com/ericart and sign up for my newsletter at the bottom of the page. And am I back? I'm back. I'm back, baby. I'm back. All right. So, as is tradition, and this time it is not as slightly uncomfortable as some of them have been in the past. As is tradition, when two characters face each other in my sketchbook for the rest of eternity, sealed for freshness, apparently. Well, locked in eternal kiss. So Yuri from the Dirty Pair meet Joseph Joestar. Oh. Nice. Okay. My stuff put away. I'm gonna do the thing with the thing and the lid thing, sliding into the box thing. Boom, 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 boom. All right, we will catch you next week. You have yourself a good week and all that stuff.